Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi everybody, welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois. What a weekend it was for LSU baseball. Of course, going into the big series against Tennessee, they were a tad bit under 500 in the SEC, trying to get some things together. They did play well against Kentucky, taking 2 of 3 from the Wildcats last week in Baton Rouge. But Tennessee, a good baseball team. They did lose when they went out and took on Vanderbilt the week before, but you knew they had good pitching, you knew they had good hitting, and they were playing at home, and it all came down to a rubber match as far as who was going to win that series, and it was a home run derby as we get to highlights out there in Knoxville yesterday. First, it started with Tennessee, actually. Blaine Brown, good outfielder for the Volunteers, hits this grand slam. And if you're an LSU fan, you're sitting there going, uh-oh, 5-0 in the third inning. Can we overcome that? But remember, the Tigers did it last week when they came down from 7 to take over the Wildcats of Kentucky. And a lot of that happened actually because of an error in that particular inning. But here come the Tigers, right? Cade Arrambide did something that no LSU baseball player has ever done. He hits 4 home runs in this game. That was his first. It was a single shot. And quite honestly, when you were seeing these single shots, you were thinking, man, can they overcome that lead by just hitting 1-run homers? There you see John Pearson with a solo. And not to be outdone, you're going to see the next batter for the Tigers come up, and it's going to be another home run, as that's what the Tigers do. They swing for the fences a lot. There's Cade Arrambide again. This is a little later in the game, and he sends that one out of the park. Again, a single-run home run, and you're just wishing that they had guys on base. Maybe that they could do this when there were runners on. Didn't happen that way. Seth Dordar, young man from Mandeville, comes up, and he puts one way out of the park in right field. The Tigers are fighting. You know they have a chance at this point. 5-4 is the score after that home run. And they actually tie it up. And then, listen, in the 11th inning, Cade Arrambide just sort of takes over this thing. He hits his 3rd home run. It's again, 1-run home run. And the Tigers can't hold on to that lead in the bottom of the 11th. So here we go to the 12th. In the 12th, he left no doubt. Bases are loaded, and he hits this one off of the top of the scoreboard. Just a phenomenal effort by that young man, as we've not seen anything like this again in the history of LSU. Not only did they get that home run, they got multiple home runs in that extra inning where they take a 10-run lead. As a matter of fact, for the casual observer who pulls out the box score, say this morning, they think LSU won this one by mercy rule, and that is not the way it happened. It happened in the 12th inning. There you see Milam with another bomb in that particular inning. Tigers go on to win this one 16-6, a 10-run win in a game that we didn't know exactly how it would turn out. There you see it. They take 2 out of 3 from Tennessee. This week it'll be Bethune-Cookman coming up on Tuesday night, and you have a weekend series at Ole Miss. But more importantly, they even off their conference record. Real quickly, we have a soundbite from Coach Ellender of Tennessee. He not too happy at the way things turned out, as his fan base is getting a little angry with him there.
You know, we've talked about being close and how do we finish, but at some point they have to make the decision to collectively do it and believe they can together. We've been in some of these games, but this one should be a lot of expensive experience and a reminder that the game can turn on a dime, and if you don't finish, other teams will get you in this league. Really, I mean, facing some good arms. You look at Cowan and these guys, some change-ups, again, underneath the baseball at times, and just, again, kind of being in between. It's good stuff. Those guys have 4 different pitches, and you know, Cowan, I don't think he's given up a run in SEC play yet so far. So tip of the cap to him. But our guys, you know, fighting in there, trying to make box adjustments and do some different things and communicating well. But this, you either get it done or you're done, and we did not.
Coach Josh Ellender, he is the coach, and it's not Ellendar, it's Elandar. the head coach who took over for Coach V there, who is not having a really good time in Major League Baseball as the Giants are not winning. A lot of people getting restless over in Tennessee. They have good pitching. They have pretty good hitting, but they're not getting it done, and they are losing a lot of games late. There you see the standings, and there you see LSU. Moving on up, a lot of teams are at 6-6. Not only are the Tigers, so is Kentucky, so is Vanderbilt, who's starting to come on a little bit, and Auburn. Everybody chasing Georgia right now at 10-2. And there you see Tennessee way down at 4-8. One of the cellar dwellers, South Carolina, not having a good year at all. Once a very, very proud program. So from the standpoint of LSU getting better and better, I think they have the opportunity this week as they will begin taking on Ole Miss. They have one game again against Bethune-Cookman to get ready for that. I don't think that's going to be a tough one for the Tigers. Most of their midweek games are not. But that being said, they're starting to find a bat. The only sort of hole in the lineup seems to be at first base with York. York is struggling just a little bit. So things trending in the right direction for baseball at LSU as they had an Easter a lot of people won't forget, and probably most notably that young man that we talked about a little bit earlier. Listen, what he did, Aaron Beatty is never going to forget. 4 home runs in a game, and the Tigers win the rubber match against the Volunteers. Got to take a break. We'll be back right after this timeout.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.